the Ark of the Covenant. Perhaps the greatest, most sought after, and most speculated upon treasure in human history. Most of us know it from Indiana Jones movies, melting faces and a supernatural weapon. But if we push the glitz of Hollywood aside, what are we actually left with? According to the Hebrew Bible, it wasn't just an ornate gold-plated box. It was the symbol of God's physical presence on earth. It possessed a fearsome power capable of destroying armies, flattening cities, and parting rivers. However, the strangest part of the story isn't its power, but its ending. Because this object, so significant, so holy, and so powerful, suddenly vanished at a certain point in history. Was it destroyed during those chaotic days when the Babylonian armies besieged Jerusalem? Or is it still hidden in a cave beneath our feet today, waiting to be discovered? Perhaps it is being kept in a church deep within Africa, thousands of miles away. Today we are going to set the legends aside and play detective. We will dust off the historical records and seek the answer to this question. Is the Ark of the Covenant really lost, or is it just hiding? If you are ready, let's dive into the depths of history. First, we need to understand exactly what we are looking for. While the precise historical origin of the Ark is unknown, the Bible offers a very detailed instruction manual for its construction in the book of Exodus. While the Israelites were camped at the base of Mount Sinai, Moses ascended the mountain to meet with God and returned 40 days later carrying 2 stone tablets. These tablets, inscribed with the 10 Commandments, were the document of the agreement, the covenant, between God and his people. To protect these tablets, a chest was constructed of acacia wood, overlaid with pure gold both inside and out. Its dimensions were specific, its design precise. Atop the ark was a lid of solid gold known as the mercy seat, featuring 2 cherubim, angelic figures, facing one another. It was believed that when God spoke to Moses, he would appear right there between these 2 angels. In a sense, the ark was God's throne. Inside, it housed not only the tablets, but also a jar filled with manna, the miraculous food that fell from the sky in the desert, and Aaron's rod. But the ark was not merely a religious object. It was also a weapon. Remember the Battle of Jericho. The ark was paraded around the city, horns were blown, and the walls came crumbling down. However, this power was dangerous. If anyone unauthorized touched it, they paid with their life. The story goes that Uzzah died instantly when he reached out to steady the ark to keep it from falling. It is even said that thousands of people in the town of Beth Shemesh perished simply for looking inside it out of curiosity. So when the Israelites built Solomon's temple, the first temple, they placed this dangerous and holy object in the innermost chamber of the temple, the Holy of Holies. And there it remained for centuries, till that dark day. Let's turn our calendars to the year 587 BCE. This date is the key to the mystery of the Ark. King Nebuchadnezzar II of Babylon besieged Jerusalem. The city fell, the temple was ransacked and burned. A large portion of the population was sent into exile in Babylon. Under normal circumstances, the greatest trophy for a conquering king would be the symbol of the defeated people's God. But here's the strange part. In both Babylonian records and the Bible, while long lists of treasures stolen from the temple are provided, gold lampstands, tables, etc., the most important piece is missing from the list. There is no mention of the Ark of the Covenant. It is as if the earth opened up and swallowed it. The last time the Bible mentions the Ark is during the reign of King Josiah, about 35 years before this event. 621 BCE. After that, complete silence. Even when the Jews returned from Babylonian exile and built the Second Temple, the Ark was not there. Centuries later, when the Romans destroyed Jerusalem again, the Arch of Titus in Rome depicts the spoils of war. We see the famous 7-branched menorah, but no Ark. So where did it go? This is where 3 major theories come into play. Our first theory takes us to the arid hills of the Judean desert. This theory relies on an ancient text called the Second Book of Maccabees, which is not found in every Bible. According to this text, the prophet Jeremiah received a divine warning just as the Babylonian invasion was approaching. Before the temple was destroyed, he smuggled the ark out and took it to Mount Nebo, the very mountain where Moses viewed the promised land. There he found a cave. He hid the ark, the altar of incense, in the tabernacle inside, and sealed the entrance. His followers wanted to mark the path, but Jeremiah stopped them, saying, "The place shall remain unknown until God gathers his people together again." This prophecy has drawn treasure hunters and archaeologists to Mount Nebo and its surroundings for centuries. The Jordanian government strictly monitors this area. However, that secret cave has not yet been found. Yet this theory may not be entirely baseless. Remember, in 1947, a shepherd found thousands of years old scrolls in caves along the shores of the Dead Sea. The Essene sect had placed their sacred texts in jars and hidden them in caves while fleeing the Romans. If parchment scrolls could survive hidden for 2,000 years, perhaps the ark is still waiting in that cave sealed by Jeremiah. If the ark isn't in the desert, perhaps it traveled much further south. The second and perhaps most popular theory takes us to Africa, to the city of Aksum in Ethiopia. Christians in Ethiopia have claimed for centuries that the ark is in their possession. The story is told in their national epic, the Kebra Nakast, the Glory of Kings. According to the legend, King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba had a son named Menelik. Menelik grew up and visited his father in Jerusalem. However, upon his return to Ethiopia, the priest accompanying him stole the real ark from Solomon's temple and left a replica in its place. The belief is that the ark did not harm Menelik or his entourage, which was interpreted as a sign that God approved of this transfer. The ark has been in Ethiopia ever since. Today it is said to be kept in a small chapel at the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Aksum. But there is a major catch. No one is allowed to see it. Only one monk, the guardian of the ark, spends his entire life inside that chapel and never leaves the grounds. Historians and scholars believe the object inside is likely a medieval replica. But for the Ethiopians, this is a matter of faith, and they have no intention of opening the doors. And the final theory, perhaps the ark never went far. Maybe it is right where it was lost, directly beneath the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. The famous 12th century Jewish philosopher Maimonides wrote that when King Solomon built the temple, he foresaw that it would one day be destroyed. Therefore, he allegedly constructed a complex labyrinth in secret chambers deep underground. It is said that King Josiah used this elevator-like mechanism to lower the ark underground just before the Babylonians arrived. Is this just a legend? In 1981, Rabbi Yehuda Getz conducted a secret excavation in the tunnels beneath the Western Wall. He discovered a massive tunnel leading directly under the Temple Mount, aligning perfectly with where the Holy of Holies would have stood. Getz was certain the ark was hidden behind a wall at the end of that tunnel. However, news leaked and political and religious tensions exploded. To prevent conflict between Muslim and Jewish groups, the excavation was halted and the entrance was sealed with concrete. What lies behind that wall remains a secret today due to the delicate balance of modern politics. In conclusion, is the ark in the desert, in Ethiopia, or beneath Jerusalem? Due to a lack of evidence, it is impossible to say for sure. But perhaps the strongest possibility is the most painful one. When the Babylonians burned the temple in 587 BCE, the ark likely melted away amidst those flames. Its gold was stripped, its wood turned to ash. However, as highlighted at the end of the video, this destruction was not an end, but a beginning. The absence of the ark transformed the faith of the Israelites. They no longer needed a physical object, a golden box, to believe in God. Faith shifted from the tangible to the intangible, from a box to a book and the spoken word. This was the birth of modern Judaism. Perhaps it is better that the ark remains unfound. Because where it is right now, within the mystery and the human imagination, it occupies a far more powerful space than it ever could in a museum.